So up till now we have, well, basically we have all our slots, we have gestures, we have our items, which means, well, we can work with items. I've also created a few new icons. You can find them in the resource folder if you haven't already. Okay, we can switch weapons, regardless that, you know, I don't have a weapon right now to change. And so what's left with this is to actually make it so we can switch on the runtime our items. Now, to do this, of course, we have to work a little bit with the UI. We're going to take it slowly, and we're just going to recreating the UI, you know, video by video, or well, in chunks at least. In case you haven't seen the UI lately, I'm going to open a photo. Let's make it smaller. So this pops up when you have, you know, when you're pressing start or, you know, the options button on an Xbox 360. This gives you, okay, 5 categories. We're not going to mess with these quick slots. These are pretty easy to add. We might see them in the end. Yeah, it's really nothing. This is just a few items that are critical. Well, it mostly has to do with meta stuff, you know, despawning fandoms and stuff like that. And from here you can select either changing the equipment, seeing the inventory in whole, although you can still use items, and by items I mean the parts, well, the consumable items, but you can also watch the items on the swords and stuff like that. Okay, and the first category is going to be what we're going to mess with today, although these two are kind of similar, so we might see this anymore. Messages, it's not something we're going to mess, at least definitely not in this video. And options, you know, it's too meta for us, so we're probably going to see these 3. Okay, well, depending if we want to, we can take care of the other 2 in a later video. And the first one, when you select it, you're going to be messed with this scene. Obviously, we haven't seen any armors. We'll see them in the future. Of course, that means I first need to create these resources. Rings, for the most part, they are just simple items that affect your stats, and some of them give you a few special abilities, you know, like invisibility and stuff like that. It's kinda way too meta. Covenants have to do with multiplayer, so we're not going to see that at least for quite a while. And basically we want these 6 slots. This will be kind of the same with this. So yeah, we want these 6 slots, which we basically switch weapons, and we also want to have this yeah, the items basically, so we can select them. From this scene we have these 3 sections. There is also a compact view, so that means these 3 are separate, or yeah, you might seem that like there are 3 elements, but it's just 2 basically. Okay, so you have this, you can make it in compact view, but you're also, when you select one of the weapons, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, there's also an info panel that basically overrides what you have in the battle, or well, you know, the settings in here. So this one sits on top of the other ones. And yeah, we're going to see all of this. So the other nice thing is that most of these are just static, so you can just keep adding all of them. Okay, so what this will tell us, we can just do a layout. Actually, let me open it in MS Paint so that we can take notes. So let's zoom. Oops, too much. Yeah, for some reason. No. No. That's not what we want. Anyway, something like this. Let's select some of this. Okay, these are the items where you replace your slot, and depending on your slot, on the slot you select, it's going to give you weapons or the consumable items or the equipment, which we're going to see on a later video. Okay, so that's pretty easy. Just select a slot. You have one active slot, well, you know, the slot you're going to be replacing, and then you can just add anything you want from your weapons. This tells us that in this list we're going to have we're going to need you know, a full list of all our items. We don't have to yet create the weapons while we are in here. We only have to create the instances of the items, okay, which basically just holds the item name, the description and stuff like that. The description will only show when we hit the X over here. Now, this has to do with stats, requirements and all stuff like that. We can add them at this point, but they will come into play on a later video, that's for sure. Okay, so yeah, we might just recreate them and leave them like this. And this has to do mostly with player status. I think you can actually change them. But yeah, the reason we open this, so we're going to create three elements. One, the main one is going to be this one, and this one will be together. And we're also going to create one, oops, let's make this green. We're also going to create one that can overlay on top of this. So yeah, 3 elements in total, I believe, and we can control which one we are opening or not. So that tells me that we're going to need you know, a smaller fine state machine, a small one, just to control all the UI. Okay, so that's how what we're going to be doing. And this yeah, with all of this, as you can see, they are pretty much on the same positioning, so that means we can just use a vertical group on our UI, which is also going to help a lot. This can be a simple grid layout like the ones we have for our gestures, which we don't see at this moment. And yeah, this can be also the same. This will just sit on top. This also tells me that we have our icons are too small, so we probably should have made our icons on a bigger resolution, but you know, just make your icons on a bigger resolution. This has to do with the order. We're not going to see this. Okay, we're going to be going into sorting methods. It's way out of scope. And yeah, and basically this just changes the information you're getting depending on, you know, if you want to have more info on your weapons. Actually, I think, yeah, it basically just takes care of the second screen, I believe. As you can see, yeah, we have a compact view. That's the most important things. This is the equipment for consumable items. As you can see, for the most part, it's just the same. You do have different info that we see in here, so that means we also need to take care of that. All these are templates basically, and we're just going to be updating the stuff we need. Okay, and this is the inventory. So as you can see, on equipment, if you are on equipment, you have all of this, but you are missing the top screen, which gives you the ability to move through, to set them up as categories. Okay. Yeah, and this goes to status. We don't have to worry about status. I also have a formula for the required souls. I find it in one of the wikis. We're going to see that in the future. So let's go to the very first one, and we want basically this and this and this, not this, this. Okay, this is what we're going to be creating. So let's start with this screen. I'm going to leave it on the side, and in here let's go and create a few stuff. Let's lock our nodes. Well, I don't think we're actually going to need it at this point. And let me organize my desktop a bit. Cool. So let's go, and I actually want to change the way we're highlighting this, because this is kind of silly. I thought of a better way and simpler way, most important. So let's go to our canvas. Let's close all our canvas. As you can see, you don't see any elements from the game UI. And we're going to just include them all under the same game object. Let's call this game UI. Let's take all them and close them in here. Let's create another game object, and we're going to call this inventory. Close this. In the inventory, we can just go and say UI. Let's create let's go with panel. Let's make it somewhat black, something like this. We're going to stick fairly close to what this is. You actually, because this is it's fairly static, so that means even if you are on the compact view, you have these black bars on top and below, but you also can see the game, and this for the most part is also static, like you don't ever have a view of the inventory and you can see behind it. So you can make this in Photoshop directly actually, and just open and close the elements. But instead of doing that, we're going to just create it with panels. Let's close this a little bit inside. If I have to guess, I'll say that maybe they made it so that you can watch the game while you are browsing your inventory, just so that you're not panicking every time you open it, or something like that. Let's go with directly over here, and let's say that we should probably fix the anchoring as well. Let's make it so that you anchor from the top. Let's say 128, and width we should be on, I'm going to guess we're free aspect, so I'm going to change it to 1080, no P. And let's make it so that you are at on 18,000. So the width is going to be the same, ground truth for all elements of the inventory. I'm going to put this in here, and I'm going to say top bar, bottom bar, hold shift and bring it back. The lower bar is significantly smaller, so let's maybe call this no 30, let's do with 40. Okay, 40 might be also too small. Anyway, let's leave it like this and we'll see. So the top bar is just for, you know, information from what I can see. And yeah, you also have a equip load and weight ratio. I don't think if that changes. Let's see. Yeah, as you can see, you kind of always have that, unless you are on the inventory where it just shows you your souls. So yeah, you're going to have an icon and a title. We have none of this. Let's add them. And let's say top bar, UI, text. Let's make it something goldish. And I'm actually going to, let's sample the colors from this. You can sample the color from the video. I'm going to sample it from over here. Let's take it from one of these. Anyway, let's call this inventory title. Over here, oh no, I want to align it on the left. Centers will be okay. Font size, let's make it around 35. Let's see how that will look. Yeah, something like that, I guess. Well, you know, while we're here also, let's create UI image. I'm going to put it on here. Image. I think, yeah, as you can see, maybe it's the correct, I think it's the correct size. Let's close this. So let's create the text. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Let's make it 45. It doesn't matter, yeah, you're going to have your own anyway. Let's maybe place it like this over here. Okay, let's change the image to something else. You know, since it's summer, you can have an image from your summer vacation. Well, anyway, let's just put something in here just to showcase that we have. I want to actually add something that covers most of the. Yeah, I'm going to leave the sword in there. Okay, create your items and add them in the inventory. And we also want to have this. So let's also add that. And we can add this down here. It doesn't matter since they don't overlap. It should be fine. So let's create an empty. Close that. Let's rename this actually. Let's call this inventory icon, inventory title, and in here let's call this write details. Maybe write details group. It's a little bit better. Place it somewhere in here. It won't matter, they're going to sit on below, so we're going to align it. Let's align the childs on middle center. Let's duplicate the inventory title and let's put it in here. I'm going to change the font size to maybe 35, no, 25. Let's see how that will look. I think 25 might be enough. I want to change this to, let's call this detail 1 or whatever. So the vertical group, as you can see, I can have as many as I want, but they can also have different sizes. Okay, which is really helpful because I can just have one that's smaller and it will bring all the others upwards, so they will sit in a bit of better position. Okay, as you can see. Let's delete the other ones though. Let's find our ground truth with this. Let's call this actually detail template. I'm going to call this detail template. I think height is too much for 60. Let's go with maybe 32. Let's duplicate that. Something is off, I believe. We have also padding. Let's see, child force expand. Let's not force the height, so untick the height, and we have our inventory details like this. Awesome. Let's see. Yeah, this will work. Let's keep them only with 2, but we don't have to just add them as a text. Since I have the size I want, I'm actually going to close them. Yeah, I'm going to only mess it with 1. Let's bring the whole right detail over here. I'm going to make this just to see, you know, the full length of what we need. Maybe something like this, I guess. Okay, and underneath it, we're going to add another empty. We're going to call this image. Well, it is an image. Let's go with 32 by 32. It's going to be the icons, the small icons you see. Let's add something here. Yeah, that isn't really helpful if you cannot see it, but I'm going to just call this icon. I'm going to, this is at 000 as you can see, so let's make it sure that it sits on from over here. And I believe we just need the icon, the main title, okay, and basically the value. We can handle the value, well, actually we can handle both of these, but yeah, let's keep them as 3 elements, so it means icons, title, and the detail, or the number of the detail. So on the detail template, I'm going to ignore the text for a little bit, and I'm just going to add a horizontal layout group. We're going to align them with, let's go with middle center. I'm going to take this detail template and I'm going to add it underneath. So let's delete now the text. Okay, I'm going to bring the icon first. Something like this. The icon should populate all of this, of course. Doesn't matter if I just have an icon that doesn't at this point. Let's add the sort so it's not confusing. Okay, we have the main detail. Let's cut this into half. And I want to stop forcing the child force expand on the width. And let's call this detail name. Let's duplicate this and we're actually going to call this detail number, and let's write something else in here. I'm going to align this on the center though. So Okay, we have our first template. If we duplicate it, we now have 2. Of course, I think we're only going to need 2, but if we want to keep expanding, we can. Okay, and we can also, because you can see when we duplicate it, it brings up the rest of the first element, and I think that has to do with aligning it on middle center. If we align it on upper center, yeah, it's not going to move, so we can fix this a little bit cleaner. Something like this, I guess. Maybe we can also drag this above, so yeah, something like that. Okay, we have the same. Let's add the first element, the first bigger element. For the inputs, you can do that on your own time, I think, because this never changes unless you press, you have your detail and you have your view. So that means you're only switching the icons. So it's something similar to this, and you're just switching them around. Yeah, it's not a priority right now, so let's not do this. Oops. Let's close this. Let's add the first panel. I believe we have on a 1080 screen. Well, it's not a 1080, we only have 18,000 for the first one, so we can split that into thirds. It's not true thirds, but let's go with true thirds and we'll see. Okay, by 3 you have 600. Let's close all that, and we're going to do another game object, and we're going to call this sender. And we don't want them to be on the inventory bar, on the top bar. We want them on the inventory bar. Okay, let's see. You have your bottom bar, you have your sender. Well, it can stay anchored up there. I don't think it's going to be changing. Or it's the inventory. Yeah, I'm going to anchor the top bar on the center, but I'm going to anchor the inventory on the top, on the top in here. I think this will make it a little bit cleaner. So let's take the center and let's create a horizontal group again. I don't want any of this, at least for the time being, and we can create another image panel. Let's drop this in here, and we can actually just take the bottom bar panel. Let's call this left. Horizontal left. We have upper left. Let's do upper center now. Oh, this has to do with this. Let's anchor it. Yeah, it's not going to let us. So let's change this to middle center. No, I actually can see what it's doing. Let's anchor it in here, I guess. Let's kind of try and place it. Yeah, that's not what we want. Let's do upper center. That's more like it. Okay, left, as I can see, I cannot change from here. Let's work with this. Let's do 600 by 840. Let's maybe bring this slightly less down. Yeah, I think we have enough room. Let's review. I think this one is bigger than this one, but this one is bigger than this one. So I guess we can split it into a little bit more. We can give this a little bit more. Let's add 50 to this. So that means we subtract 50 from this. Actually, this could be the same, but it's just the graphic that makes it so that it looks a little bit smaller. Or yeah, smaller. Maybe if we overlay this. Anyway, let's make this, let's remove 115 from this. We're going to add 50 to this and 100 to this. Let's see how that will work. So that will be 650. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to name this center. So this will be 750. Yeah, 750 is not enough. It's not, I think it's too much. Let's do a maximize on play. Maybe it's not too much, I guess. Yeah, it's the graphics that throw us off. It's this, as you can see, because you are losing some of this in here. Anyway, let's go with, I think I like this was 600. So let's leave that at 600. Let's leave the center on 700. And let's duplicate the right to 600 is too much. Let's do 550. 550 is also too much. Let's do 500. Yeah, I think this one is closer. Of course, there's no connection there. Yeah, this will be touching all of them. So let's see. I think we can actually change the padding or the spacing. Yeah, so let's do 1.5 or 2 pixels. I'm going to guess that it gets 1 pixel from the one and the other. Okay, let's do 3 pixels. -3. Yeah, something like this. Obviously, yeah, you can just do this in Photoshop. These two are the same, so you can have them in here, or when you are closing one, you can open the other. Okay, and yeah, we're missing some of the edges, so let's just, you know, and I won't tell if you don't tell. Let's go with 507. Okay, good enough. So let's close this one, at least for now. And actually I want to duplicate the center. And I'm going to delete the right. I don't want the right. I'm going to duplicate the center. I'm going to call this center overlay. Let's close the center overlay though. No, actually, we want to get the center overlay, put it outside of the horizontal view. Let's change the color a bit to something more colorful. And we want this to be right on. This is correct. Yeah, I think it just sits on top of the center. So let's leave it at that, center overlay. Okay, close that. Awesome. Now, okay, we have our base for this. Let's see what we're going to need. Let's do the equipment scene first. So all these are just grid layouts. We are going to reuse the ones we have on Game UI. I think gestures and our quick slots are going to basically be the same. So I'm going to duplicate this template and I'm going to drop it on my inventory. Let's close the Game UI. And on our center, on our left, let's create an empty. I'm going to rename this weapon slots. Okay, and let's call this grid layout group. The cell size we want 100 and 100. Let's see if that's going to work. Yeah, it can work, I guess, but I want to be a little bit safer and play it a little bit cleaner. Let's see what we have on our game UI. On our bottom left, quick slot down. Yeah, we just have them like this. Let's see on our gestures what we have to our grid. We have 100 and 100 and spacing to 15. So we're going to do the same thing. Weapon slots. We're going to still keep it as template. And we're going to say grid layout group 15. Let's duplicate and duplicate. Let's start with fixed column or fixed row 2, or actually we want 6 of this. Weapon slots. Oops. And now I realize that we created the panel size without taking into account the slot sizes. So that was a really clever thing to do. Anyway, oh, actually we might be on the clear. Yeah, it was all premeditated, I assure you. I'm definitely not doing random things. Let's go 45, it's not enough. Let's go 50. 55. Oh, I actually think 10, even smaller. 8, no, let's go 5. Yeah, 5, 50 might be a little bit better. Okay, so we have our weapon slots. Duplicate that, bring this on the top. We only want delete all this. No, we deleted too much. Delete the other two, the extra two. And since these are static, they never change, even if you have a weapon or not. Okay, these are always going to be static. You can change their icon base, or actually it's not even an icon, it's just a background, as you can see. Like, even if you have selected a weapon, you can see that the background image, this image, still stays in there. And you also can have an effect on over here, which is really meta. So we're not going to mess with that. And yeah, for the most part, everything else is just the same. So the icon slots, the only thing that changes is their category and the icon in the center. Okay. Yeah, I should have closed that. Let's bring this from over here. Let's create the one for our equipment. We're going to see equipment later on. Let's rename this. Let's call this arrows or whatever. I actually want to get rid of the icon in the center, and I'm only going to leave the base. But for the base, let's add something grayish on top, and let's lower their opacity. Yeah, that's not going to work as I expected, but anyway. Okay, let's leave it like that. And we want the layer mask. I want to just get rid of the icon. Let's just close this. Okay, let's do delete all this, duplicate this one, and make 6 copies of this. Okay. Arrows and bolts, yeah, are going to be the same thing, so doesn't matter. Template. Yeah, it probably would have been wiser if we redid this when we update the icon base. But anyway, that's what life's about. So, weapon slots, duplicate again, call this armor or whatever, or wearable items, or use your imagination. Let's give them some space. We want this to be a little bit bigger on this. We only want 4. Delete that. So we're going to say constraint count, let's do 1. Okay. Armor, rings, in here. Well, the covenant is just 1 in here. You can change it. And maybe these are too big, I believe. Yeah, like we don't have a lot of room, so maybe we do. Anyway, yeah, we actually don't have enough room. We're not going to have a lot of room to move down here. So let's make this slightly more compact. Okay, you can change that. So we have our rings. Let's take the weapon slots again and bring them down here. And yeah, we're not going to have enough room. Awesome. Anyway, let's fix them. We have for items we have 10 items. Let's duplicate. We don't want all of them. We have 6, so 4 more. We're going to have 10. Okay. Now let's go on the first one and change the template to, we have height. Well, from what I can see, this is mostly orthogonal. It's not a true square. Well, it's not same-sided square, or however you call that. I call it pizza. Yeah. Well, this is going to be boring, but let's do 120 by 100 by 100. Anyway, let's do, we want the background, we want the outline, 100 by 120, and I think the layer mask, if we change the layer mask 100 to 120, yeah, it should work, probably. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit clearer. The nice thing is just, I can, well, I'm going to make this into a prefab, and I'm going to go on the UI and I'm going to rename this prefab to inventory slot and drop this down here. So when I'm going to be recreating all of this, I can just hit apply and it's going to change this on everything. Let's get rid of the other ones. Arrows, duplicate this, drop the arrows in here and make 4. Same for the armor. Delete this. 4. Same for the rings. 4. And for our weapon slots, for our items or consumables, delete all of them, inventory slots, drop them in here, and we want 10 of these. Okay, and we're only missing the covenants. Let's fix their spacing. Let's do with 0 and 0. And actually, because we are 120, we can use we can use 20 in here. Let's do the same on the weapon slots, 20 and 0. Let's do all of them together because that's going to be fun to do. 0, 20. Okay, and now we're probably going to have some room to move. Bring them up, bring those up, and consumables, bring this up as well. Okay, now it's a little bit cleaner. Awesome. Let's add one more just for the hell of it, and we're going to name this Covenant. Something is off-centered. Well, anyway, I hope you don't have OCD. Okay, so we have all our slots in here. Let's create all this. We're going to create the UI only on this, and on the next one we're going to create the logic that hooks everything together. So if you want to skip this video, you know, if you know how to set this up, or if you have your own UI, you can skip this video. And let's see. I can say that this can work as a vertical group, and we can have everything underneath. So let's get rid of the, no, let's keep it anyway. And I'm going to create an empty, and I'm going to say this, I'm actually going to name this group 1, or maybe we can call this stats. Yeah, weapon stats, since this can change. And in here, let's create a vertical group, not horizontal, vertical layout. Let's create a UI text. Let's drop it in here. Let's make this white. Let's center it. I'm going to change the child alignment on the upper center. So that means I can just take this and align it somewhere. I believe, yeah, we forgot something. You actually have a text above all of this. So let's take all of this and bring them back down. Something like that. We can always add a little bit more below. And we need to have, let's see. Yeah, I'm actually going to group this together as well. And I'm going to say equipment. Drag them in here. Let's take the same text, or let's initialize the list. Let's say that 25 is going to be a ground truth. Maybe 25 is too much also. Take the text, let's drop it in here. Let's say text, we want 2 of these. Yeah, so they sit like that. 25 might be actually be small. Yeah, I'm actually going to delete these 2, and I want to take them from the top bar the right detail group. I'm going to duplicate it and drop it on the equipments. Let's make this 0 0. Let's bring it in here. Yeah, this is going to work fine. For this one, I'm actually going to also duplicate this again and drop it exactly as it is under the sender. Let's bring it over here and let's leave it at that for now. For this group, we don't want any icons, we don't want any detail number, we only want the detail name, which means you can also just get the detail name, or actually, yeah, because they are positioned correctly, let's just only keep this. Let's make this longer. Let's say it's going to be 300. Delete the other template name, and this is going to be slot name. Change this to your text, okay, or something that you are not going to be confused about. And this is going to be the item name. Okay, let's change it to something else. Let's say right hand, and item name, let's call it test item. Slot name, item name. Let's see how we are on time. Yeah, we are close to an hour, so this is going to be a bigger. Let's call this equipment text or whatever, anyway, or let's just call this texts. Okay, slot name, item name. Awesome. Now in here on our sender right details group, let's delete the text. Under the weapon stats, let's take our right details group, and we're going to use this one as we want this under the weapon stats, and we're going to use this as our template. We have a lot of room to move, as you can see. Well, we're going to break this because we have the icon that kind of messes everything. So we can break this into groups. We can have one group in here. Attack power is going to be another one. Guard absorption is going to be another, and the additional effects and attribute bonus and all that. So let's make this one first. And as you can see, we have everything almost. So we have the icon, and we have the title name, the text. We're going to need one double like this. Okay. The trick is going to be naming this. But anyway, let's see. Well, okay, of course, first we're going to need the title. So let's fix that first. Delete the icon and delete the number, and we're going to call this title. We're going to anchor this on the left so that is correct. Horizontal layer group. Let's do this middle left. Let's anchor everything on middle left. Let's do the same for these two. Middle left. Okay. And we're going to call this, or actually this is going to be item name. Let's call this weapon stats and weapon stats. Well, let's call this weapon info, and this is going to be weapon item details. Let's go with item details. Item name. Detail template is going to be I think this is the first one is we're not going to use a detail name for the first one. This is going to be weapon type. It says straight sword. Oops. Let's actually write something in here. Let's say raw test sword whatever. I think till here, so we can have an icon sitting in there. Raw test sword. I don't know why it's raw, but that's what we're doing. Anyway, weapon type. We have the icon. The icon can change based on the category, I guess. Oops. Yeah, we should all actually bring this entire thing. And I'm going to change this to upper left. Well, at least for now. These two should probably line up. Okay, we have, let's rename this to weapon. Let's call this sword or straight sword. Let's raise this. Let's we can spare a little room. Weapon type. Next one is going to be, I'm actually going to duplicate the weapon type because I want to keep that one. And this one is going to be, yeah, that's a thinker. Damage type. This one is probably damage type because I see thrust, standard and thrust. Yeah, no, actually I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to call this damage type because you can have two from what I can see. You have your type 1 and you have your type 2. So let's name this. Let's call this standard and let's call this thrust. And you can just you know, anchor this. If you anchor this on the center and thrust, anyway, something like this. Okay, there is some spacing below for some reason, which means we can on our item details, we have width. Yeah, we're not forcing the expand on the height. Okay, let's duplicate this a little bit more. So I want to make a little bit more spacing. Yeah, that's not going to work. No, this will work. Damage type, let's say on this, if we change the anchoring on this, no, that's not going to work. Yeah, this is kind of messy. So we can keep this one a single one or just type 1. And let's say, let's align this on the left. Let's say standard thrust, nothing sexual. Okay, well, yeah, let's actually, I'm going to duplicate this. Oops, I don't want this to be in here. I want this to be like this, and I'm going to call this break. And this one will only serve to just break a little bit the part. So we don't want any icon, we don't want detail name, and we want all this. Let's put a line. Yeah, those text graphics, I know. but you know, they are useful. So let's make it something like this. Okay, the next one is going to be, you have your icon, you have, this is the stance. So you have your icon, yeah, we want the icon, and we don't want detail number, detail name is going to be called, let's just add stance, and I think this is just the ability, so let's call this ability. We actually are doing a dumb thing at this moment, because we should probably create first a script that sits in there. Anyway, so let's do this one, and we're going to write a script that holds the details for all of this. The next one is FP cost. I actually don't know if this changes to from FP cost to, you know, to stamina cost, if it's not a magic weapon. Yeah, this can stay like this. FP cost, detail numbers. I'm just going to write what I'm seeing on the Astora sword, and that will be 17 to 20. Now what that means, your guess is as good as mine. And finally we have our weight. Okay, the icon can stay, detail number, detail name should be weight, and the actual number should be no thanks. Okay, so we have our weapon info. Let's add one of these breaks on top as well, on the item name, just for the fun of it. Yeah, we're getting there. Let's add an icon in here. I'm actually going to just duplicate this for now. We're not done, of course. So you can see that because I'm duplicating, it gives us, it makes me stuck in there. And so that means, yeah, that means we need to break them apart. Let's get rid of this vertical layout group. I don't think we're going to need it. Let's place them as placeholders in here. We're going to change them later. Let's duplicate this. Oops. Once more. Okay, something like this, not exactly like this. And I'm going to put this one on the center, and we're going to fix them up as well. This is just to as placeholder. Okay, I think with size we are we're happy. I'm going to duplicate this one more time, and I'm going to place it in here, and we're going to keep this. So I'm going to bring this on the top, and I'm going to say icon, and we want to keep only two things. Let's delete these two. This is going to be icon actual, and this is going to be your durability. Open this. I can see there is an icon. Detail name, durability. Detail number is going to be, and yeah, we shall actually break this one as well. So the first detail number is going to be like this and like this. That means we have current and max. Let's add something in here. Let's say 80 max. Let's say 80. And if you want to, be a little bit lazy, you can just add one in here. Oops. And close this even smaller, make this even smaller, something like that. Okay, now the first one, the icon actual, we're going to delete the text and we're going to add an image. Actually, we're not going to add anything. We're going to leave this empty and no, yeah, we can't actually delete this. Let's take one of these icons. So that will be on the left, equipment, one of these, inventory slot. We can just take the icon, I guess. Let's take the actual inventory slot and place them and place it in here. We can yeah, we can actually grow this a little bit. Let's say 100. No, let's leave it like this. I don't really care, to be honest. Oops, we did something wrong. Oh yeah, this has a horizontal group. We don't want the horizontal group. Let's place it in here, and I'm going to take this one and dragging this down, it's going to place this one in here. Well, leave it like that, make it bigger, it shouldn't really matter. Or you can take one of the game UI slots. Okay, let's take this one, I guess. No, close the left, bring this one in here, icon actual. Okay, get rid of the other one. You can place it in here, just so that you're not getting confused. You can just bring this one on top, and if you close this, yeah, it should be more on par with what it is. Let's bring the base as well. The base should be first. Yeah, and let's delete this one. Okay, and that's the worst UI you've ever seen, but anyway. And let's see, I think, oh well, you know, you can make it a little bit cleaner, spend as much time as you want to make it simpler, but yeah, at least for now this will do. On the left, things are much easier from what I can see. So that means if we get on one of these, for example, let's take item details, and on the right, yeah, I want to say on the right, not on the left, it's just one from what I can see. Okay, one of these, and if we grow it, we just need a lot more elements. So let's put it in here. As you can see, we can spare some room, I guess. Oops, I should have closed that. Leave it there. And yeah, let's start writing some of this. I actually don't want to write this right now, because we want to create one script to control the elements. So yeah, maybe it's not too wise, or actually yeah, we can write it, since these are pretty static. Okay, like this will never change their order. I think there is some that pop up if the weapon has something special. I don't think I can have it though. You have also player status from what I can see. Yeah, like this is for the most part, you just have to of this. Anyway, let's do player status first. So let's make sure this is on the correct position. let's see, let's do minus 30, and in here let's also do minus 30, and of course they are not correct. Anyway, I hope you don't have OCD. Anyway, let's just eyeball this. Good enough. And let's change this to player status. Player status. Category. Player status. Yeah, we need a break. Weapon type. This one is going to be your level. The level for some reason has an icon, I guess. This will be, actually no, I want one that has a double element. Let's see, damage type. Yeah, all of them have double elements. Let's see, ability doesn't, FP cost. Okay, so level, icon name, detail name, this will be level, and detail number, something. Okay, next you want another break, and in here, you know, just hit space, and then we have vigor or vigor or whatever. Let's go with let's start with 30. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's duplicate this. We have vigor, attunement, endurance, vitality, strength, dexterity. I want to fix their size first though, on the first one. Something like this. Yeah. We need 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need another break, don't we all? And then we need 3 more. We need a break, a larger one. Let's make this also larger. And we want 4 more. Okay, let's not write their names. You're actually going to do this on your own time because we are over an hour. So, you know, just write the names you see in here, take them and basically write them in here. Okay, detail name on the left and a number on the right. We're going to change that as well. For these ones that you can see they have double, you need a second text. Well, there's 2 ways to do this. You can do this through script to change the names, to change the values, or you can just do the same thing we did in here on the FP cost, which should have been yeah, it's probably a little bit wiser to just write it on the script. Anyway, okay, just add the values you want from here, and on the next video where we are going to write the logic, we're going to see, yeah, we're going to hook this up. We're kinda off on the sizes, I guess, because we have a lot of room to spare. So let's just put this one in here. Okay, you know, just make a better job than I did. It should be hard to do so. Okay, so we have our player status. Let's create the other layers. So we have, technically, we have this view. Okay, equipment, our slots, our weapon stats, and our player status. Now we want to have, actually, there is two player status, as you can see. But yeah, as you can see, this one is the same, so we're just going to do a duplicate. It's kind of the same with this. So we're just going to do a duplicate and bring in the, yeah, and add these ones. We're going to do this in this video. Let's create this one though, this view. And as you can see, this can actually grow and be smaller too. Let's see, we have 6 by 5. 6 by 5. Okay, so on the right, let's go on the left. We have our equipment. We want to take the text outside of this, since they are the same, as I can see. Actually, no, they're not the same. Yeah, they are the same, yeah. Anyway, so we want like this. Equipment, let's duplicate this, close the one, and let's call this inventory, not inventory, inventory. And let's delete all of the weapon slots. So we're going to do, let's see, constraint count, we can do 6. Actually, let's create a lot of this to see what's going to happen. And we want to have, this is the row count, so we can, no, let's do column. Fix column count, we want to have 5. I think it was 5. Yeah, I already forgot. Yeah, it's 5. And you have this scroll bar, which we're not going to worry about at this point. Okay, so this will have as many as we want, or as many items as we have. That means we're going to have to use a layer mask, create empty, mask, image, and now we're going to use a little bit of math. If let's find what we want to use. 100, we have 100 by 120, so that will mean on our width, if we have 100 by 5, that is 500, and 120 by 6 should be 720. 500 by 720. Okay, place it somewhere. Maybe this is too small, so let's make it so 510 and 740. Place it somewhere like this. We're going to fix it. Let's add the mask component, and let's also add the weapon slots underneath our mask. Let's on our mask, let's not show and not like as target on this. Let's place our weapon slots a little bit better. So as you can see, this one will move up and down, which it's kind of look a little bit silly. And so when we are scrolling, we're basically going to be moving this up and down, as I said. We're going to hook this behavior later. Just for the fun of it, let's add, I want to add something on top in here. So on my text, I'm going to duplicate the item name. let's call this break. Let's add something, and oops, texts break. Let's close this one, something like this. Okay, just so that it sits a little bit lower. Let's maybe bring the inventory down here. Let's maybe add some more of this. Yeah, as I said, this you can make all these elements in Photoshop instead of using them in here. Instead of yeah, that's not going to work. Anyway, let's leave it like this, or maybe we can just add, which it's probably going to be wiser if you were doing it in Photoshop, but you know, that's the meaning of life. Anyway, we have our text, inventor, mask. Let's, for the fun of it, let's add the slider, UI, slider. Let's bring it underneath. It can sit outside of the mask, shouldn't matter. We want to change this from top to bottom, and actually, no, this will work. Bring it in here and drag this down here. Yeah, you can change the colors and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to, yeah, anybody will care if I didn't at this time. Okay, we have our right hand. Yeah, we have our inventory, which is cool. So that means we can just keep adding in our inventory. Yeah, we have text, inventory, yeah, mask, weapon slots. Let's call this inventory slots. We tested that it works, so that means if I just delete all of this and use only the first one as the template, it's going to work fine. Okay, awesome. Let's do, we have our player status. Let's do the second player status, which is this. I think, yeah, let's call this weapon status instead of player status, just so that we're not confused. Player status, duplicate as it is. Let's call this weapon status. Let's close the player status. Have weapon status. We have category is going to remain the same. And basically we want to change the, let's take this one as well. Let's call this category. No, subcategory. Subcategory. We don't want the icon, and we don't want the icon, and I'm going to anchor this on the right, so this will be middle right. The detail name for the first one, we're not going to use this. We're going to use this on the second one though. So let's call this is attack power. I'm going to duplicate this, but I'm going to delete this one now. Okay, so we have subcategory. We have the R weapon slot. Let's actually delete the other ones. Anything that we don't want. Okay, where is subcategory? Yeah, we have a break, detail number. Instead of vigor, let's add a break between our subcategories. And this will be, I don't know, let's call this our weapon. You have your icon, you have your our weapon 1, and you have a number. The number, I can see that it's anchored on the right, something like this. Okay, so you have your three right weapons, which we want on top, and you have your three left hand weapon, your stats. Rename them at your own time. And then we have another subcategory, which is defense and absorption. And yeah, this one is a little bit more complicated, and it has, you have your icon, you have your detail name, you have the defense, and you have your absorption, which probably is a status, is a percentage. So we're going to need two of these. Did we lost this one? No, it's over here. So let's call this I don't know, let's call this D1 because I can't think anything. Detail number, let's call this one physical. Let's bring this one in, let's bring this one in. And yeah, probably makes sense if the defense, if the numbers is under defense, and this one as well. Yeah. So that means we need to bring everything up here. No, yeah, let's do it like this. Subcategory. Let's bring this one slightly bigger. Slightly like this. It doesn't matter if it clips. Okay, something like that. D1, D2, and yeah, this is supposed to be a subcategory. So what you can do is take one of these and remove this one, and none the wiser. So you can say, okay, let's write the names, I guess. Let's say physical. Have your icon, yeah. Let's say P1 or PA, PB, BC. Okay, we have our physical. Next one is going to be magic. Well, I'm doing magic all this time, but you know, this one is the status. Magic, fire, and lightning, lightning, light. I hope I wrote it right. Yeah. Anyway. Lighting and dark. I think there is also a secret one that only opens depending on your item, which I'm not sure which it is. So we're going to add one more. Let's close this. I need to find which one it is. If you know, of course, you know, speak it in the comments. And I'm going to add an empty break. We're going to add another break. No, actually, yeah, there's no secret one. This one should be full, unless I'm missing something. So let's delete this one. Let's add. We actually don't need a break. We need a subcategory, and this one is going to be resistance. resistances. And instead of absorption, we should have armor and the backslash. Okay, let's take one of these, duplicate, the icon stays the same, and we have bleed. Poison. Little name. Poison. Frost and curse. Oops. Frost. And curse. Maybe now there is a secret one, I don't remember. Curse. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now let's do the overlay for the center. This will be center. Let's open the center overlay. Let's add, let's add slightly other color. Let's add an outline as well, just so that we can separate it. Yeah, anyway, this will do. And let me find the overlay. Basically, we're going for this item name, item description. But this is probably the same. I'm going to guess the same element. And here's where we differentiate a little bit, because you have your skill and stuff like that. So that will make it. Let's take one of the. Oh, we can actually just get the right detail group, or let's take one from the center. Let's duplicate the weapon status. We're playing dangerously. Anyway, bring it over here. We're going to keep only the category, which is going to be item name. Let's keep the 2 breaks. We're going to have one big break, which is going to be also our subcategory we don't want, which is also going to be our icon big. And let's keep only 3 of this, or well, 1 of this. For starters, we don't want any icons, we don't want actually any, we only want 1. And this will be item description. I don't know the correlation between this and this, so for all we know, this can just be a break on the description. So let's just say that this is an entirely new description. Let's make it a little bit bigger. Let's actually, make it so that it populates. Let's maybe call this description or whatever. Something like this. Item description. Let's maybe make this a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's not going to work. Upper left. Okay. Item description. We want up till here. And like this. Detail name. Let's anchor this to over there. We want to have the same size. or almost the same size. Okay, the icon needs more room, something like this. This will be a description. Let's say this is a description. There's many other descriptions in the world, but this one is mine. Όχι, yeah, no. There's many other descriptions in the world like it, but this one is mine. If you know where this is from, you know, put it in the comments. And over here we have our skill. Now skill is a little bit different. Because we want to also have the detail name, we want to just say in here, let's say skill. We're going to name this skill name, and skill name, let's call this C#. Yeah, that's my skill. Well, you know, most of the days that's my skill. And we want this to be much smaller, something like this. And let's call this skill description. And for this description we can say the ability to annoy everyone with lengthy tutorial videos. Okay, let's make it yeah, I think I want this one to be closer. Yeah, detail name should sit underneath. Awesome. Let's go on the icon big. We don't want any detail name, so we only want an image. Let's select find an image to add. Let's add one of the let's add the sword. Yeah, let's add the sword. Hit set native size. This is going to be your native size, and you can center this. To center it, just remove the horizontal layout group and just place it over here. Okay, yeah, there's room for improvement, I don't deny that, but I guess we are really close to this. Let's take a peek what we have. We don't have this. Yeah, we can add this. It won't really matter, it's not something big. Yeah, okay, let's do this also in this video. So the next one we're all going to write scripts. Okay, slots, the equipment slots, weapon status, player status. We're going to fix these ones on the next video. Well, you know, this everything that is static, that basically never changes, just write it on your own time. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do this on the video. For this, yeah, these are the same. Basically you have an icon and a number, so it's just two elements. So take one of that, or yeah, let's do this now, I guess. And we have this, and this. We have this. We're not going to make this. Now I don't know what this. Interesting. I think this just shows both of them together. Or this is the no. I don't know. I think maybe this just shows the changes from, yeah, maybe it compares the, well, anyway, if you know what this is, let me know in the comments. I think it has to do, it compares to what you're going to have. Yeah, compares your current weapon with the next one, but I didn't have a weapon equipped. I don't know. Also, there is change equip area. Yeah, I just saw this. Like you can change the equipped area just pressing left bumper, right bumper. That's going to be interesting. And yeah, I can see that for the most part we have all our UI except this and where was it? And this. So we are at a good place. You can see for any of the other items it's still the same, so it's not really that important. And now we are going with the status. Yeah, this is also a nice view, which is kind of fun. Should be interesting to do, but we're going to do this on a later video. Anyway, let's end this one here. Okay, because we are close to 2 hours, so there's no need to drag this all that much. And on the next one, we're going to take care of all this mess. We're going to write them through scripts and all that. Yeah, well, actually, let's not end this. Let's create the, just to be sure that we are all on the same page, let's create this additional effects and attribute bonus and stuff like that. So let's close the center overlay. On our road tester, let's find that one. Weapon status. This on the right. We don't want on the right. We want the weapon info. Item details. Let's call this one bottom. And we have item name. Let's keep the break. And let's say on the weapon type. And actually, we can add yeah, I don't know what that is. I think this one is bleed, and I'm going to change this to just a number. I'm going to make this centered, and I'm going to duplicate this one. But let's see, we want this. Yeah, we have spacing in here. So let's just make it, we want this to be 4. So let's start with 80. Maybe 80 is too low. Let's go with 100. And this one is bleed. This one should be poison. Yeah, poison. You can see that's the same name. Poison. And the next one is going to be frost. And I think you might have course somewhere in there as well. I don't know. We'll see. So let's change the first one. Let's call this additional effects. Additional effects. Okay. We don't want this. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually going to just delete all of this. And the break. And bottom. Oops. Yeah, I deleted too much. One type. Let's go delete this. Let's call this stats or whatever. Let's call this. You have your additional effects, so let's call this again additional effects. Actually, yeah, let's call it like, let's do it like this. paste this. The next one is going to be attribute bonus. Okay, item name. And we have strength, dexterity, I think this one is intelligence, and the next one is faith. Okay, you can change all these ones to A, B, C, or however your weapon stacks. Obviously we're not going to create any icons because this is just way too much for me to create all these icons, and yeah, it doesn't really give anything. It's just for easier use. And this one is going to be attribute requirements, and they are the same. Let's take the same name, open it, item name, detail name, oops, attributes. Yeah, this will work. Some of this we don't need, the horizontal layout groups, so you can delete them. The best case scenario for this is to just create your, as I said, since these are all static, you can create them on Photoshop and just add them, but then you might have resolution problems, so I guess this wasn't everything in vain. Anyway, yeah, for everything that's static, you can decide if it's best if you use an image instead of writing them or making them the same way we did in here. I'm going to leave that up to you. Okay, we have this. So let's only fix this one. Let's make one of these, which is just 5 buttons, so that on the next video we are free to do everything we want with the rest. Okay, so we have top bar, inventory, center overlay. Awesome. Let's close the inventory. Let's open the game UI. No, actually we don't need the game UI. Let's create an empty child. And let's say yeah, I think this one should be game menu. I'm actually just going to get one of the inventory icons, not a detail group, no. Let's go center, left, inventory, no. Inventory slots. I'm going to bring it under my game menu. Okay, let's center this. Awesome. Oops, this will be 0. I want to make this onto its own prefab though, so I'm going to just say menu button. Bring that down here. And I basically just want to get rid of everything. We don't need a layer mask, we only need an icon. We don't need a base, we don't need any of this, so because you can just change the image. So let's make all of this like that. Actually I want to get rid of the outline as well. We have background. Let's make it all black. We have the outline. Let's add text, a simple text for now. Let's say equipment. Let's just leave it at E. You need to place your own icons. Let's go with 80 or something like that. Okay. So let's say that this is going to be our icons. We want to have, let's call this icon, menu button, icon base. We don't need this anymore. We're going to create something else. Future, your menu. So let's make this layout or horizontal layout group. Okay. Let's call this equipment, inventory, that says the name, to I. This one should be, I don't even remember what it is. Yeah, the player status, I guess. Or attributes. Let's write this. Messages. M should do. And options. Okay, there is a little text on this one down here. Let's add that as well, just for completeness. So let's take one of the other texts we have, just so that, you know, so that we can keep the same color, basically, nothing else. Let's duplicate one of these templates, bring it in here. Oops. Yeah, we don't need the horizontal layout group anymore because they are already, oh no, we're actually going to need it. So let's put this one somewhere else for now. We have our horizontal group. Let's give them slightly more space. And now let's disable it. Let's just simply disable it, and let's take the detailed template, put it down here, and I want to have, we don't want the icon, we only want the detail name. Yeah, and so basically I only want the detail name. Delete that one. Detail name can sit in here. Let's close this. I'm going to guess that the bigger we have equipment, inventory, attributes, messages, options, I'm going to guess that something like this is going to be the biggest the text can be. So let's also add an outline so that it can read in here, and let's duplicate this one. Let's add just scores or whatever. Okay, just for the fun of it, something like this. It's just a placeholder elements. You can change them to whatever you want. Let's maybe change the name, inventory title. Yeah, let's add one more background on the end. I'm going to duplicate this, drop this one in here, background, delete the icon. But for my background, let's add the knob, something like that. Let's see how this looks. Oops. Yeah. Yeah, it's not really looking nice, is it? Never mind. Let's adjust the background. You know, just so that it separates from the game elements. And that is actually really ugly. Yeah, this is really ugly. Screw it. I think this should be enough. Yeah. Game menu. Let's place it somewhere in here. Well, we can add the items now, but I think it just might be pointless until we're using them. I don't know. Oh well, what the hell. Let's add it. So let's just go on the left, on the equipment. Let's take the rings or the armor we can get, and let's just bring them down here. Rings. Let's bring all of this above. Let's call this quick items. Although I think you cannot actually select which item you can use or which place you can place them, so that these are always static, or at least something like that. And I think it's also you have 5 of these for some reason. I don't even know what is the 5th one. And yeah, let's maybe give them some spacing so that they can't sit like the other ones. Anyway, okay, something like this. You get the idea. Oops. You get the idea of what we're doing. Add any icons you want to add. We're not going to be adding any of it because I cannot draw that well. And on the next one, we're going to actually hook everything up. So yeah, let's end this video here. We are on the 2-hour mark. Yeah, I figure you know what to do after 30 videos. So that will be like, subscribe if you like to see more. Okay, and if you like to support me so that we can keep continuing and let's see how far we can take this in making it, then consider supporting me on Patreon, where you also get to see the videos much earlier. There's also more rewards coming and more stuff that you could get with Patreon. And the other way, of course, is via Gumroad, and everything just goes back into making all this nice stuff. So, you know what to do, and go do it. I'll see you next time.